know what is it with NASCAR in 2024, but we are getting blessed. I tell you, we are blessed. Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Jet. Welcome back to episode of MDK Racing Victory Stop, recapping what took place here at Darlington Throwback Weekend. It was one hell of a race. Well, I should say this. It was typical Darlington, but boy, it got spicy at the very end where we had three drivers, both cars from RFK Racing and Tyler Reddick. And in a way that, let's be honest, a lot of us were expecting, but we were still shocked to see. Let's jump fast forward right away to the end of the race, near the end of the race. Now, it seemed as though it would be in the hands of Tyler Reddick. I mean, he led the most laps with 175 of 293. But near the end, it was the RFK guys, specifically Brad Keselowski, that had the better car. Right before the final round of green flag pit stops, Reddick had a massive lead on Keselowski, but due to lap traffic, Keselowski ate that lead away, and Keselowski would end up passing the 45 car right before pit stops. Near the end of that pit cycle, Keselowski was only 4/10 ahead of Tyler Reddick. And then we had a caution come out with Kyle Larson spinning, losing a tire in turns 3 and 4 with 40 laps to go. That sets up a restart with the 45 and the 6. And oh my goodness, first off, I know we drag Fox a lot, but I got to give credit for them for sticking with the aerial camera for such a long time. That, you know, the Goodyear blimp camera, whatever you want to call it, but they stuck with that camera for such a long time. And we saw one hell of a battle between the 45 and the 6, side by side, almost the entire 3 or 4 laps. They were side by side, not giving each other an inch, just beautiful stock car racing. But of course, you know, when you have two drivers fighting hard so close at a track like Darlington, contact will be made. And we saw that. Off of turn number 4, the 45 and the 6, they make contact. They hit again and again, hit the wall. Here comes a 17, a Buscher, who was in third. Swoops to the inside, way down near the inside wall, slides up, takes the lead, and goes bye-bye, right? No. Even though Buscher was out ahead, he didn't have the fastest car. It was still the 45 and the 6 that had better cars than the 17. And in the closing laps, the 45 started to eat away at Buscher's lead. And then Reddick made one of the most bonsai banana type moves I've ever seen him do in quite some time, because the move just, we knew it was not going to work. But in the closing laps of the race, Reddick goes to the inside of Buscher in 3 and 4, slides up, but he was nowhere near clear him. The two make heavy contact with the outside wall. That allows the 6 car to go, you know what, thank you guys, y'all do your thing. I'm going to swoop by, take the lead, and I will go on to win the race. Now, the 45 and the 17 both had come on to pit road due to flat tires. Reddick actually, both Reddick and Buscher went multiple laps down. Reddick had a pit road violation, so they were out of the race. Ben Gibbs, Ty Gibbs, he inherited second place and was within striking distance, was maybe 6 to 7 tenths of a second behind Keselowski, but Keselowski was too far ahead, too little, too late. Brad Keselowski would snap a 110 winless streak, leading 37 of the 293 laps to win the Goodyear 400 for his first win of his career at RFK Racing, the first owner-driver to win since Tony Stewart, and it's Brad's second career win here at Darlington. And I'm pretty sure I may not be mistaken, but this is, I think, the first time the 6 car has gone to victory lane in the Cup Series. And I could be wrong about this, but I think it's the first time since David Reagan at Daytona in 2011. I believe it was the last time the 6 car went to victory lane in the Cup Series. So that's a long time. I could be wrong about that. Someone can fact check me on that one. But of course, we know Buscher was heated. He even had his hand out, sticking out the window right after the contact with Reddick. And this is what happened on pit road.
Off. Look at this. Buscher mad at Reddick.
I know. What's that about? As soon as I knew it wasn't going to work, I tried to back out and I thought, the last thing I want to do is wreck their car. I can care less about mine. I'm sorry. I fucked up.
It doesn't work for me. We don't have that sticker on the wheel right now. Huh? Need to be better. I don't have that sticker on my wheel. This means more. Needs to be better. We've raced each other just fine for so long.
I'll tell you what. With Reddick, I'm glad that he admitted defeat, or at least he admitted fault from it. there are some drivers in the garage, I'm not going to say who, but there are some drivers that would just say, oh, it's just racing. It's just racing. You just know that they would not accept responsibility. So I got to give props to Reddick for, taking it to the chest and be like, you know what? That's my fault. That's my fault. My bad. But Buscher, I mean, oh man, I feel so bad for Buscher fans. I mean, after what happened last weekend at Kansas, for about 10 seconds, y'all thought you won. And then you lost by 1/1000th of a second. And here today, you had another fast car, a shot to win, and that ends up happening. I will say that with Buscher, there was the argument when there was a lot of expletives going back and forth. Buscher said, I need that sticker, which unironically is probably the least intimidating thing you could say in an argument. I'm sorry. Like, I get Buscher's frustration, but there's a lot of ways you could have said, I needed that win, not I need a sticker. To me, I don't know why. When he said that, I just started laughing. I thought that was funny. But Buscher had every right to be upset. Now, I'll be honest. The move that Reddick made, was it dumb? Yeah, but because it was never going to work. It wasn't like a situation with the 9 and the 19 car at the Southern 500 back in 2020 where Truex was almost clear of Elliott. Reddick was nowhere clear of him. Now, I saw a couple of people that kind of throw back to the 2003 race between Busch and Craven, where those two, I think, went into turn 1, both made contact. So I get that assessment. I get that argument. So I don't think it was egregious, like, oh my God, Reddick, you're an idiot, like, you're stupid. It was just kind of like, what the hell were you thinking type of move, because there was no way that was going to work. It would make sense with 2 laps to go, or if it was only you two on the final lap. But there was still 5-6 laps to go. I mean, there was no need to do that. I mean, I think Reddick had the faster car. It wasn't like Buscher was getting out of the way and that was Reddick's one and only shot. Reddick, I think, had the faster car. He could have caught back up, or he did catch back up to Buscher and could have made a pass on Buscher to retake the lead. So I don't think Reddick didn't need to do that. To me, it was just like, I get why he did it, but it was kind of like, why? You could have handled that a lot better. So, but it was still one hell of a finish. Those last handful of laps were awesome to watch. But yeah, let's take a look at the race results following the Goodyear 400. So Brad Keselowski wins. Ty Gibbs in second, who led 34 laps. Another great run for that 54 team. Look at third place, Josh Berry. Unbelievable run for that 4 car. Hamlin and Briscoe, the top 5. Byron in 6th. Bubba Wallace in 7th place. A nice top 10 finish for him after a string of bad luck races. Alex Bowman in 8th. Look at this. Look at that top 10. Justin Haley in 9th in a Rick Ware car. Michael McDowell rounds out the top 10. And look at the shout out. Look at the blue ovals. I mean, we have been talking so much about the inconsistency of Ford. I said during the pre-race show earlier today that this could be a day where we see Ford show up and show some speed. And I predicted Keselowski to win, and he did just that. But half of the top 10 are Ford drivers. So great run. Rebound, I should say, maybe for Ford after how much they have struggled so far in 2024. Ross Chastain 11th, Elliott 12th after he started in 31st position. Just a salvage. They were able to salvage a 12th place finish. Christopher Bell, another just poor performance for him in 13th. Noah Gragson 14th, and Todd Gillen, a solid top 15 finish for him. Also, Corey LaJoie, nice run in the top 20. Ryan Preece, Kaz Grala, another, man, Rick Ware Racing kind of showed up today. 9th and 18th, good run for those drivers. Eric Jones in his first race back 19th, and Austin Cindric the top 20. Joey Logano 21st. He struggled after having a good start to the race. Harrison Burton, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Daniel Suarez, and Martin Truex Jr., who again started strong, but had issues in the middle portion of the race and was never able to recover. Carson Hocevar, Kyle Busch, and Austin Dillon 27th and 28th. Just again, bad days for RCR. Derek Kraus and Chris Buscher rounds to the top 30. Then John Hunter Nemechek 31st, who was caught up in a crash about halfway through the race. Tyler Reddick, Daniel Hemrick, Kyle Larson finishes 34th after, like I said, he spun with around 40 laps to go. Zane Smith was also caught up in a crash, and Ryan Blaney finishes 36th. Now, the reason why Blaney finishes 36th is because of this crash that happened right after a restart. William Byron entered in turns 1 and 2, took a 3 wide on Truex and Blaney. They were clearly not clear, and the track was too tight for 3 cars. Byron barely slides up, makes contact with Truex, who then slams into Blaney, puts Blaney in the wall, and then creates a stack up. A couple of other drivers received damage like Larson and Bubba, and Blaney was out of the race. But he was not happy. I think he said, I'm going to kill. He said, I think, I'm going to kill those MFers, which I got to say with Blaney, he is underrated when it comes to sound bites because he is so chill, but like you kind of forget that like as soon as he turns on, puts his helmet on, he has the mouth of a sailor. Like, damn. I mean, poof. And then after he got caught up in a crash, he went back on the racetrack just to give Byron a little like, hey, what's up with you, man? What the hell's wrong with you? Type of signal there. Damn, man. Oh man, Byron. Rough weekend with Byron for both Blaneys. Anyways, here's a look at the point standings following Darlington. Kyle Larson and Mark Truex Jr. still 1 and 2. Denny Hamlin gains a spot, Elliott loses a spot. Byron back in the top 5 after a couple bad races. He's back, like I said, in the top 5. Reddick loses a spot, Gibbs gains a spot, and Blaney falls to 8th in points with Alex Bowman and Ross Chastain rounding out the top 10. Brad Keselowski becomes the 8th different winner of 2024. He is locked into the playoffs now, +4, 11th in the standings. His teammate Buscher right behind him in 12th, Kyle Busch 13th, Briscoe stays in 14th, Bell falls to 15th, and Bubba Wallace in 16th. However, Briscoe currently holds the final spot in the NASCAR playoffs, 6 points ahead of Bubba Wallace. Joey Logano in 17th and now 30 points below the cut line. Daniel Suarez locked in with his win at Atlanta. He is good. Noah Gragson and Austin Cindric remain 19th and 20th. So my thoughts on this race, and I just want to add like another nugget to the whole Buscher and Reddick situation. I understand Buscher's frustration, but if you were able to listen to the argument on how he said, you have a win, I don't, this means more to me. To me, that's a lazy reason to get mad. Don't get me wrong, he has every right to get mad, and I'm pretty sure, in the heat of the moment, you're running on adrenaline, you're not really thinking much of what you're saying. But to me, using the argument of you have a win, I don't, this means much to me, it's like, okay. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Buscher, I love him, but I'm like, it's like, who cares? It's like, just because another driver has a win and you don't, that doesn't mean they're just gonna let you go. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't care if I had 8 wins. I want number 9. Like, that's, I don't know. Again, it's probably high on adrenaline and just, saying things at the heat of the moment. But to me, I thought that was like, I don't think that's you could have used better reasoning to show your anger, be like, you put me in the wall, like what the hell's wrong with you, instead of like, why'd you do that? You have a win, I don't, you should have raced me easier. It's like, no. But yeah, I just wanted to call attention to that. But other than that, I thought it was a fantastic finish. I mean, man, NASCAR is, again, this season, again, I know we have our issues with this next-gen car, but I'm sorry. We've had too many banger moments in this season. We've had great finish after great finish after great banger after banger after banger after banger. I'm sorry. Like, we hate this. There are people say that we hate this next-gen car, but I gotta say, it delivers. It delivers. Yeah, I know short tracks and road courses are a different story, but there is potential with this next-gen car, and I'm sticking to it. I'm still on the next-gen wagon. But man, I'm like, oh man, I am worried about North Wilkesboro. I am scared about that actually. But we got the Coke 600 the week after that, and we know that race is gonna put on a banger. I'm excited for that. But overall, in terms of the overall aspect of Darlington, it was your typical Darlington race. We saw a lot of tire fall off. They had to mentally think of a way to get through their opponents, race the racetrack. It was, I think, your typical Darlington race. And usually Darlington always produces really good racing with this next-gen car. So when I say typical Darlington race, good. Like, there's not really much that happened in this race in terms of like, wow, big moments, but I think it had everything you wanted out of a race at Darlington. Lots of tire fall off, great racing, strategic, methodical type of racing, not just, well, except for the ending part, but actual methodically, drivers making their passes, very solid, aggressive racing, great pit strategy that happened throughout the race. I thought that was very entertaining. So I can't complain about this race. Scale of 1 to 10, man, I would give it an A. 7.5, 8 out of 10. Nothing much to really complain about, at least in my eyes, with this race. Not many moments until the last 40 some odd laps of this race, but overall, solid. I really was entertained from start to finish. Let's talk about some of the drivers. RFK Racing, that team. I mean, step aside Penske. Penske, you've lost your crown as the main guys at Ford. That goes to RFK Racing. I mean, it's incredible what that team went through. I still remember 3-4 years ago where that team was in major, major trouble. I mean, they couldn't get a top 10 to save their lives. I mean, a team like Roush Racing that was here and their fall from grace. And for Keselowski, a guy that left Penske to go to a team like Roush at the time that was in dire trouble, that needed major help. And to turn it around the way that they have done in the past 3 years is absolutely incredible. I mean, 5 wins already since 2022, 4 with Buscher and now 1 with Keselowski. I mean, man, RFK Racing, they are on it. And like I said, I think they have overtaken Penske as the new lead dog at Ford, because Penske, once again, I mean, even besides of Blaney's issues, Logano had a strong start to the race, but fell off. And Cindric was nowhere to be seen. I mean, Penske this season has just not been there. But RFK, and I feel like we need to kind of, with Ford, we need to talk about less of Ford as a whole and more or less just Penske and Stewart-Haas. But even then, because RFK they're getting better and better, being more consistent, especially in these last few weeks. Even Stewart-Haas Racing, I mean, look what they've done. Barry, top 5. Gregson saw a top 15 finish. Briscoe in 5th place, or 5th or 6th place, I believe. I mean, Stewart-Haas Racing, they are certainly not back to where they once were, but they're getting better and better. They're becoming more consistent, I should say. The 3 drivers, except for one not to be named, of Priest, that are getting better and better. But with Penske, it's just, they've just been, again, having this roller coaster. Like, some races they're great, some races they're not. There's not been a steady trajectory of improvement. It's just been a roller coaster. For Hendrick, off day, I think, for Hendrick. I mean, Larson was the fastest car, but Bowman was just around the top 10. You know, he just solid day for him, but nothing really, shining about that 48 car aside from the paint scheme. Elliott was just in the back. I mean, he just could not. I don't know if he was even in the top 10 at some point in time in this race, but started 31st. Great recovery, but still, based on from what I've heard, I thought there would be maybe more speed out of that 9 car. And Byron led 2 laps. Again, just solid top 10. Like Hendrick was, aside from Larson, all the other drivers were they ran their own race, I guess you could say. But this was unusual because of all the times we always talk about Hendrick Gibbs. This time was RFK Gibbs with a hint of Hendrick. So yeah, thought this race was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. Fox had its usual issues. Terry Labonte was in the booth. I'm not kidding. There were times throughout the stage I forgot Terry was in the booth. It's like you're watching and all of a sudden you hear this voice. It's like, who the hell is that? And then you realize, oh yeah, it's Terry Labonte, because there's a reason why they call him the Iceman. That man doesn't say anything. At the very least, he barely says anything. And that's fine, but it's like, why you gotta have him in the booth for this? Because he says maybe 2 or 3 words every 10 minutes. Outside of that, I mean, Fox, they had, issues in stage 1 where they called a stage early. Commercials, we know that's a deal, but I enjoyed how they covered the ending of that race. Boyer and the guys in the booth, great energy, actually be excited for the calls, great camera work. So I thought the ending, they did really good. But I am pissed off because for post-race coverage, I think we only got the top 3. Maybe Buscher, actually no, we didn't even get the top 3. I think we got Buscher, Reddick, the winner, Ty Gibbs, and I think that was it. And then they were off the air, so. Yeah, when does NBC come back again? But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts on this race? Let me know in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you not? Until next time, my name is Jett from MDK. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see y'all next time.